Hello everybody, welcome to the I Am IT Geek YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz Dan, as ever, I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to another video, and we're not, again, it's a break from the SE100 content. We're continuing on this sort of, last couple of weeks, every Friday I've done a video around a tech book review, because it's not been done in a while, I've not done it in a while, since before starting again recently. And they just had various people asking me about it, and I thought, you know what, I really enjoyed doing it. I thought it'd be when I originally did it, when I started it, not done it in a while, and I'll probably break up the exam content that I've been doing. And I was well overdue reading some books, so I had a fair bit of time recently to read some books. Now today's review, it's a bit of a it's a bit of self plug, if I'm honest with you, because I was part of this project. So as part of it, from two points of view, I was a technical reviewer on all the chapters, but also I got asked to guest author on one of the chapters, which is a massive honour for me. I think I've made it quite clear, I think, in my socials and on videos that I do, that I am not the best writer. I really struggled with the two books that I wrote, even though it was a great. I felt really accomplished doing it. I'm not good at writing content. I never have been. I'm fine with technical documents like HLDs, LLDs, but when it comes to actually authoring, I found it very difficult. And the experiences I had, although they were great, and I wouldn't change anything, I don't want to do it again. I'll never author a book again or be the main author. So when I was asked, you probably guess what book it is. It is the Mastering Azure Virtual Desktop book. This is edition 2, second edition, because I've already done a review on the first edition. I'll put the link in the description. But again, the original book was by Ryan Mangan. He's invited two amazing people so Ryan Mangan is a Microsoft MVP, and he's invited two amazing people from the community, Neil McLoughlin and Marcel Meurer as well. And the foreword was done by Christian Brinkoff, who's obviously works for Microsoft, massive in the sort of AVD and sort of VDI community, EUC community as well, I suppose. But he's also he's principal PM for the Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365 with Microsoft. And he kind of leads up the MVP program as well for that as well. So loads of ties to AVD and VDI in this book, and it was just an absolute pleasure to be part of it, if I'm honest. Massive honour when Ryan asked me to. So I got asked to be a tech reviewer, which I was fine with. That that was kind of standard what I've done for a lot of different books. But when I was asked to actually write the chapter, I think it's chapter 20. Basically, it's the answer questions, the exam at the end. I wrote that, so I do apologise in advance. I'm joking. So I'm not going to review that chapter because that would be really weird. But I've reviewed the rest of the chapter. I've read this book inside out because I did receive the tech reviews and I received my copy last week. So it's a heavy book. They're both heavy. First and second edition are both heavy. So let's get started. So straight off the bat, we're talking about the sort of the preface. Let's start off with the preface. Where is it? There it is at the top. So let's go to the preface again. Who's this book for? So it's for IT professionals who wish to attain the AVD specialty certification. So this is, again, it's a mastering book, so it covers the exact. It says it in there that it covers the exam topics as well, and those who work in end user computing fields, so EUD, EUC, where whether you're an administrator, a consultant, or an architect. So it's a technical book. It's not for beginners. It's not for, although there will be some fundamental elements to it. It's if you're working in that field already or you want to do the AZ140 exam, this is for you. You should already be familiar and comfortable with cloud computing and Azure principles. So essentially, you really need to have an associate level understanding if you're going to read this book, I would say, because it does talk a lot about Azure concepts because AVD is in Azure. Again, it gives us a bit of a brief overview of what's covered, a lot of chapters, a lot of information, and just a general sort of how to get in touch, etc. So as we get into the book and some of the chapters, how's the content broken down? So I don't know I probably do know who's written which chapter, but I'm not going to get into that. It's a group effort. So again, to start with, very much introductory, fundamental. What is it? Azure Virtual Desktop, what is it? Very theoretical, but straight off the bat, the putting in diagrams and breaking the information down, which from my other review, I'm a massive fan of, from my other book reviews, I'm a massive fan of this. So straight away off the bat, they're breaking the information down around, what's managed by Microsoft, what's managed by you, the consumer. And there's even a little bit on Azure Stack HCI, because now that is now in GA, that's, it's generally available, which I thought was really good, to have that bit of information around Azure Stack HCI and what that is. And the rest of the book follows the same suit as we go in. We see more sort of obviously practical, theoretical information explaining what density, personal pools, etc., what they are. But then we have a table that breaks sort of an example user groupings down. And again, it's just breaking that information down. I think in these sort of books, mastering books, it's important to try and break the information up because there's so much of it. There's so much theoretical element. You need to put in things like tables, images, diagrams. And again, this book does that. And I think it's very easy to read. And again, I found it when I was reviewing it, I found it very easy to read. I mean, I was being asked to technically review Ryan, Neil, and Marcel, who have been in this community a lot longer than I have, are much more technical than I am. So I felt like, well, how can I tell these guys what technically what to write? But like I said, they didn't miss a beat. If I'm honest with you, when I was reviewing it, I could not pick anything out technically wrong. And again, these are three of the leading people in this topic in the world. They are all Microsoft MVPs. So you're getting the information from the best people. And again, a bit of information, a bit of a lab here, even though it's not classed as a lab, but again, from steps on the client connection sequence here that you can read. And as we go down again, very much a lot of theory, a lot of writing start with, but again, trying to break the information up with tables and images again. The chapters are much longer than you will find in other books because again, it's a mastering book, and I said this about the book that I did last week around the Defender for Cloud, the Defender for 365 and XDR. Although I think this topic is probably a bit of a bigger topic, which is why this book is bigger and a lot more information. But I think the mastering books do need to have more information in it. This doesn't disappoint. Again, we've got some breakdowns of PowerShell there. And as we get more into the book, as we get more technical, we kind of see that they're getting more images, we're going to see more labs. Again, each chapter has questions, has some knowledge check. Only 4, each chapter doesn't need many. I've got 4, which is fine. It's that's fine to have, and it tells you a bit of further reading as well. So as I said, as we go down, we start to get more practical. We're getting into the designing elements here. And again, breaking it up in with PowerShell and different images. It's just going to help you as a reader. Again, since the first book, a lot has changed in AVD. A lot of new features, a lot more integration with the Azure, the Azure sort of cloud stack. Azure Stack HCI is now GA. Entra integration has just gone tenfold, and it's a lot more. So you're going to find there's a lot of differences between this edition and the first edition because just so much has happened. And then they do cover a lot of it. The Windows 11 support, Windows 365 is now very, very much a big element of the VDI space, and they cover all that. And again, as we get on now, we're getting an implementing chapter here. They start covering more labs and more practical elements of how to do things, which is why I just felt like it was such an easy read and very easy to. Again, the diagram just really help you break up multi-site VPN, client side, VNet to VNet, let you understand it, and it just simplifies it for you. So I felt the combination of that and the labs and the questions, very interesting book, and I think it's one that you should have on your bookshelf, especially if you're preparing for the exam. This is definitely you're not going to miss any information in this exam. Unlike an exam topic book, it's not structured specifically for the exam, but the information in this will prepare you for the exam, right? As well as following the labs and all those sort of things as well, making sure you're doing labs. It talks about setting up Bastion here, goes through that. As I said, the chapters are very long, but there's so much information in them. I'm assuming Ryan did this chapter because it's got his blog, image of his blog. So yeah, just breaking down the information, the questions. Again, great to have a knowledge check at the end of each one. As we go down again, let's go down to managing access and security. Very similar, introductory images, and then we're going to get some like a lab as well, how to configure. So again, very, very, very easy to read, easily broke down. A lot of technical. It's a very deep technical document. sorry, technical book. So yeah, very much recommend you understand Azure before you start reading this, and that's what it says in the book as well. So it's not like they're saying it's for beginners. It's not for beginners. Unlike the one that I did last week, the 365 book, the XT Defender X365 book. That said, there were chapters in that. Half of the book was for executive level. So they said that, and that's what they did. So they've said already that it's not one for your beginners. But again, just breaking down the group policy. Just again, this is not one aspect of ABD that I think this just does not cover. And as we go further down, there's obviously 19 chapters, and obviously we have the final assessment, which I'm not going to review, but and I'm a very strong believer in the final assessment for all books. And this has it there because you need to practice again. Especially now this is saying it's said in the book, it covers the exam as well. You need to have that, and they do have that. And I was asked to write that. Massive honour, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And one thing again that I just love, that when people do this is they're not just obviously sharing the different books that are linked to this, but also they're actually sharing and calling out other resources and people within the community, which is lovely and is great. Andrew Taylor, Simon Binder, Dominic Verham, Friel Burson, Christian, Marcel, Neil, Anoop, Baz Van Kam, good old Baz, Patrick, Bernard. Don't know who this guy is. Shouldn't be on this list. I'm only joking. The I Am IT Geek, which is me. Big shout out. Stefan, Sander, Seven Beckman, Niels, Travis. Everyone. These are all superstars. These are all VDI, EUD superstars. Jim Moyle there, Tom Inklin, and the fact that Neil, Ryan, and Marcel are shouting these people out, I think is great. They're promoting other people in their book, which I think is amazing. So yeah, I can't really speak more highly of this book. 100% recommend it, and that's not because I was a guest author. It's not that at all. It's a great book, and it just builds on the first. The first edition was amazing. I did a review on that. I'll put the link in the description. But this is very much in line with that. And you've got 3 amazing authors, very technical. I'm going to put their socials in the description as well. Connect with them. Very helpful. All Microsoft MVPs, always willing to help and answer your questions. So thank you very much for everyone watching. Thank you for your support. I hope you're enjoying these videos. I'm enjoying doing them, as you can see. It's been a while since I've done them, so yeah, thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.